get in the car." The shout ripped through the air like a lightning strike. Ethan Caldwell, the billionaire's son, froze mid-motion, his hand still clutching the chrome door handle of the sleek black sedan. For a split second, time itself seemed to stop. The source of the cry was a boy, older than 12, standing in grease-stained overalls, with work gloves hanging loose on his small hands. His eyes burned with urgency, his chest heaving as if every breath carried the weight of life and death. His name was Marcus. The crowd that had begun to spill out from the glass corporate tower turned their heads in disbelief. Who was this kid to shout at the heir of Caldwell Industries, one of the most powerful families in America? The driver, a tall man with sharp features and a black cap, sneered. "Step away, boy. This isn't your place." But Marcus didn't move. His hand shot forward, palm open in a desperate signal. "Don't. Please, Ethan, you can't get in that car." Ethan's jaw tightened. No one spoke to him like that. He was used to deference, to whispers, to people shrinking back at the sight of his tailored suit. Yet here stood this janitor's son, daring to command him. From the top steps of the tower, Richard Caldwell emerged. Polished shoes clicked against the stone, his presence demanding instant silence. The CEO's silver hair gleamed under the afternoon sun, his expression hard as marble. "What is this nonsense?" he barked. "Ethan, get in the car." "We don't have time for interruptions." Marcus turned, his voice cracking with desperation. "Sir, I'm telling you, something's wrong." "That car isn't safe." Laughter rippled through the employees. A janitor's kid warning the billionaire? The absurdity was too much. But Marcus didn't laugh. His eyes locked on Ethan's with a pleading intensity that stripped away pride, status, and power. And for reasons he couldn't explain, Ethan hesitated. "Enough," Richard Caldwell snapped, marching toward Marcus. His tailored suit, worth more than the boy's family made in months, shimmered under the sunlight. He towered over Marcus, his voice dripping with disdain. "Do you understand who you're speaking to? Step aside before I have security drag you away." Marcus swallowed hard, but he stood his ground. His small fists clenched, his body trembling not from fear but from conviction. "I don't care who he is. If he gets in that car, something terrible will happen." Gasps erupted from the crowd. Ethan's friends, lounging nearby with expensive watches and mocking grins, jeered. "Look at this kid playing hero. Yeah, maybe he's after a payday." Pathetic. Ethan flushed with embarrassment. Anger welled in his chest, not just at Marcus, but at the way the boy's words clawed under his skin, forcing him to doubt. Richard snapped his fingers at security. Two guards stepped forward, ready to seize Marcus. But before they could, Marcus shouted again, his voice breaking with raw terror. "They tampered with it. The brakes are cut." Silence. Every head turned sharply toward the car. Even Ethan's heart skipped a beat. The driver's eyes narrowed. Ridiculous. The boy's lying. But Marcus pointed a shaking hand toward the undercarriage. "I saw it. I was cleaning near the garage. A man paid another worker. They thought no one noticed. I saw the knife, the tubing, they cut it. If he drives off, he won't make it to the next block." A wave of murmurs surged through the employees. Could it be true? Richard Caldwell's face darkened with fury. "Do you realize what you're accusing my staff of?" He turned to Ethan. "Get in now. Don't let this nonsense control you." Ethan looked between his father, the car, and Marcus. His pulse thundered. Every instinct told him to obey, to avoid humiliation, to dismiss the cleaner's son like everyone else would. But something in Marcus's eyes, raw, unwavering, held him frozen. The driver opened the door wider, his expression strangely tight. For the first time, Ethan noticed the way the man's jaw flexed, the bead of sweat at his temple. And then, in a decision that would alter everything, Ethan stepped back. "No," he whispered. "Not until someone checks." Richard spun toward him, stunned. "Ethan, do as I say." But Ethan stood his ground. His father's authority, his friends mocking. The weight of privilege, all of it cracked in that single moment. He chose to trust the boy in overalls instead of the empire that surrounded him. Security hesitated. Employees leaned forward in anticipation. For the first time in company history, the heir had defied the king. A mechanic was rushed from the building's garage. He slid under the sedan while the crowd held its breath. Seconds ticked by like hours. When he emerged, his face was pale. In his hand dangled a piece of severed brake tubing. "It's true," he said, voice shaking. "The brakes were cut. Whoever drove this car wouldn't have survived the ride." Chaos erupted. Gasps, shouts, disbelief rippled like thunder. Cameras flashed, phones recorded. Richard Caldwell's empire of control cracked in full public view. Ethan staggered back, staring at Marcus. The boy had saved his life. Richard's face drained of color, his jaw tight with fury, not at Marcus, but at the revelation that his own house had been compromised. He turned toward the driver, but the man was already gone, vanished into the chaos swallowed by the crowd. Ethan's voice trembled. If I'd gotten in, I'd be dead. Richard tried to compose himself, but the eyes of his company bore into him. No amount of wealth could shield him from the truth. A janitor's son had saved the heir, when no one else dared to act. Marcus lowered his hand, his chest heaving. For a moment he looked smaller, just a boy again. But the dignity in his stance, the courage that had silenced billionaires, remained unshaken. The crowd's whispers shifted. No longer mockery, now it was respect, admiration. Richard cleared his throat, struggling to regain control. Ethan, come inside. We'll deal with this internally. But Ethan shook his head. Loud enough for everyone to hear, he said, No, Dad. We'll deal with this publicly. Marcus saved me, and everyone here deserves to know the truth. The statement struck like lightning. Employees broke into applause. Security dropped their tense stances. And for the first time, Richard Caldwell's authority was challenged, not by rivals but by his own son, emboldened by the courage of a boy who should have been invisible. In the days that followed, investigations revealed the truth. Corporate sabotage, betrayal within the company, conspiracies rooted in greed. But none of it overshadowed the single fact that echoed through headlines. A cleaner's son had saved a billionaire's heir. Ethan never forgot Marcus's words, nor the hand raised to stop him. And the company, once blind to the invisible workers who kept its halls clean, would never again ignore the dignity of those who refused to be silent. And so the boy who dared to yell at power became a symbol, not of wealth, not of privilege, but of courage, the kind that could change the course of lives.